Welcome to another episode of Be So Good That They Can't Ignore You. We're back with another video, Week 8, Titans at Bengals. It's going to present another challenge for them, especially on third down. It's been well documented how poor their third down defense has been this year, 2020, as of Week 8, and against a team that has several weapons. The wide receiving core, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, AJ Green, Auden Tate, um, Michael Thomas, and as well as the tight end Drew Sample and a great young quarterback, a running back that can run. He's a slasher and he can catch out of the backfield. Backup Samaje Perine and Travion Williams has a similar skill set. So the Titans have their handful. This isn't going to be the type of game where the Bengals, because of their record, they're gonna, you know, they're not going to be pushovers. So with the Tennessee Titans third down defense, a lot of the problems that I've seen on tape is they haven't had a harmonious marriage between their pass rush and their coverage. This is what happens. They might come up with an elaborate blitz scheme, or maybe somebody wins off the edge and they're about a split second away from getting a sack. But the talent on the back end or the play call on the back end allows the quarterback to make a quick read and a quick decision, therefore thwarting the whole plans of the pass rush. So it was a pressure, but you didn't get home. So, how do the Titans get home? How do they marriage the pass rush and the coverage? I'm a big proponent and a big advocate for having, obviously you get the talent that you can get, but you increase the talent variance, then that helps a lot for the pass rush. Increase the talent variance on the back end, it's going to help the pass rush. You increase the talent variance or the talent on the pass rush, it's going to slightly affect the secondary. And I tell you why, because good quarterbacks are going to read where to go. But if a guy can't cover, it doesn't matter how good your pass rusher is, he's going to get the ball to him. Now, if you got a shut down corner and a poor pass rush, now you can cover all day, but you'll get a lucky sack. You have so many different variations of the quarterback, leaving the quarterback to make a decision, a poor decision, or maybe your defensive lineman or somebody. There's more room for error when you have an elite secondary. Whereas when you have an elite pass rush, if you have poor coverage, it just doesn't matter. So I hope you guys were able to digest that. So I looked at the third down Titans defense, play calling, strengths and weaknesses, and talent. Very similar to what I said. It doesn't matter if, you call and they all pair with each other. So if it's third and 12 and you call a all out blitz and you don't have cornerbacks that can cover that well, or it's a situation where this team has great um, tackle breakers or run after catch type of talents, it doesn't make any sense to call a cover zero or an all out blitz or something like that. You have to play smart. So in a third and 12 situation, depending on your personnel and talent, sometimes it just makes sense to call a very vanilla play like a cover three, cover two, cover cover four, cover six, something that's very simple. Guard the first down and have your players come up and make tackles. That's simple. You're almost wanting them to complete the pass shorter than the first down so that your players can go and make a tackle. It's very simple. This is football. This is a video for the football guys, and the football guys are going to understand what I'm talking about. Allow them to get the little dink and duck play, go up and make the tackle. That's simple. You don't have to be elaborate, for the Titans. But here's something, and this is what the video is really about, is the wide nine. Tennessee Titans fans should know, very well what the wide nine technique is. It's something that Jim Schwartz and back in the day came up with a bunch of the coaches there when he was there early in the 90s into the 2000s, and then he carried it on to the Bills and the Lions, and I think the 49ers picked it up. It's a growing thing, and what Jim Washburn, defensive line coach, that they implemented while they were here in Tennessee. So what it does is it gives you an edge on rushing the passer. It gives you an edge on setting the edge. Um, Now this Bengals run game is relatively simple. They're going to run stretch plays, zone plays, and then in the inside, their inside game is relatively simple. There's something that you can practice against. Now, what this ideology helps with the Titans is you're going to be able to set the edge. And your alignment is we're going to call this 1-3-5 technique, 7 technique, and 9. And the responsibility for that end here is to set this edge at this angle. Same for Vic Beasley. So you're going to have Jadeveon Clowney on this side, preferably, because I'm pairing Jadeveon Clowney with Harold Landry. And then you have Vic Beasley, who's been playing relatively well assignment wise versus the run. And then obviously he's a freak in the pass rush. So I want him on the field on this side because I know he's going to stay assignment sound as opposed to having Harold Landry on there because I think these two operate well off each other. So this is what happens before the tackle even can get into his kick step. These athletes on the outside have an opportunity to beat their tackle before they get their kick steps. Now you got Jeffrey Simmons in the middle, who's basically playing nose tackle in this particular play, but he can be a one technique. He's playing zero technique right now, but he can be a one technique, and he can take either gaps depending on the play, depending on whoever rolls. And I know that he can beat and bull rush whoever's in front of him. You got Jayon Brown, who's going to be more than likely manned up on the running back. And here's the special player here that I think his pass rush ability has not been used enough since he's been drafted. You look at tape of him at Alabama, his pass rushing skills were raw, but you could see it. And I think that's something that the Tennessee Titans have to start using more. In this particular play, he has an option. It's a kind of check with me kind of play that you will probably have with your coach. Whereas you might want to have a spy on Joe Burrow in these certain type of situations because this is basically a cover one type of thing where Kevin Byard on the back end is going to have this covered in a zone. You're going to have him manned up on Drew Sample. That's Kenny Vaccaro. I prefer Amani Hooker on Tyler Boyd as opposed to any Titans corner. Maybe Kareem or maybe they move Breon Borders, but I like Breon Borders, number 39, at least for the practice squad. On the outside, they're probably going to put Jonathan Joseph back here, manned up on T. Higgins. And then Malcolm Butler on AJ Green. And then, like I said, I like Amani Hooker in that role there because I trust his coverage skills this year. He's a very instinctive and high football IQ type of player. Now, you have an option with Clowney and Landry on this side to where some plays he'll just beat this backup tackle to the punch. Other plays, you'll have Harold Landry in the 3 technique, try to get around to the 5 technique as fast as possible. Clown is going to start on his angle and then loop back in and try to defeat one of these, once again, backup offensive linemen. The Bengals line is banged up right now, and what people will say a get right game will probably just be more so the Tennessee Titans using their skill set discovery, and using the players' talents. It doesn't matter how banged up a line is if you have a Clowney not being used in the ways that he should be used. Now, just because of the situation that the Bengals line is, you probably are gonna have production either way. But these are ways that you can use on any team using the wide 9 technique. The same thing goes for Rashaan Evans. You can obviously have Beasley out here beating this tackle before he gets in his kick step and his stance and alignment in a pass play situation. Or you can have a situation where you have a check with me where he can attack that 3 technique right in here, get him to close out, and then obviously bounce out and he can cut back in. You can have these stunts and gains and play around with them all day. I have faith that Kenny Vaccaro can stay with Drew Sample. And then you have these better matchups. I honestly prefer Breon Borders. He's a practice squad guy. He's a feisty kid. He's a bit more spry in terms of covering these guys because T. Higgins, he's a guy that could have a freaky game because of his athleticism. Same thing with other guys like uh, number 80, Michael Thomas, who could fill in these roles, or Alden Tate, number 19, who can fill in either role, X position or Z position, wherever it may be. So this is a concept of play design that I think can work for the Titans. Wide nine, where it kind of takes care of a lot of things that's been ailing the Titans right now. Burning midnight oil, and these are some things that the Tennessee Titans can certainly take advantage of, is using their athletic ends or outside linebackers in situations in wide nine to where they can beat these tackles to the punch, beat them home. One thing Burrow is good at, though, is stepping up in this pocket, man. He can step up in the pocket. That's why you might have to have a spy here to watch him in those type of situations. You'll have him manned up, and then you'll have that taken care of. Now, another player that I love to see get snaps in this game is number 51, uh, David Long Jr., who definitely versus the run, first two downs, you'd love to see him in the game. He's a hit sticking type of guy. I trust him on third down as well because he's smart, he's instinctive, he's physical. Now, as far as covering somebody, I don't necessarily like him in man situations, but if we could, if this was cover three instead, I trust him in a zone. I trust him in a zone. Um, and then obviously earlier downs, you'll have Daquan Jones, Jack Crawford in this position, working off of that. And then you have Daquan Jones in certain situations in the game as well. So this is just a concept. Pass rush coverage marriage, we went over that, how it's a combination of play calling, strengths and weakness of the play called, and then the strengths and weakness and talent of the players. Like I said, it's a lot of words, but to simply put, it's better to have talent on the back end, in my opinion, than it is to have, the perfect play call or the best talent up front. You can scheme pressures, but it's very important for you to have good cover guys back there because you make the quarterback hold the ball, you're going to get home. You're going to get home. But if you get home and your quarterback makes a quick read or he identifies that your cover guy cannot cover who he has, then it's all for naught. So these are some concepts that the historically bad third down Titans defense could possibly use in this game and in future games. Wide nine technique, allowing this dynamic duo that you have with Landry and Clowney to play off each other, taking advantage of Jeffrey Simmons' power and ability to bull rush and handle guys one-on-one and defeat double teams, getting Amani Hooker in more coverage situations, getting a young guy like Breon Borders more reps, because I think he's a feisty corner. He's going to bring some energy. And then allowing Kevin Byard to be free and make plays, run sideline to sideline, making plays. And then using Rashaan Evans' pass rush ability more. He's incredibly powerful, got powerful hands. He's even got a decent amount of bend to him and speed. So with that being said, like I said, I already said David Long, getting him in on earlier downs. And then this is all collectively, I think, the Tennessee Titans, if you stuck with me. This isn't playing. This is freestyle. It's late at night, and I'm just trying to get this done for you guys. And I really think that this can work, whether it be this week or in the future. Wide nine concepts, Rashaan Evans, letting Kevin Byard be free, working off of that tandem of Landry and Clowney. And, I wouldn't even be mad at seeing Kareem Orr be here in the slot. And then, obviously these guys can swap depending on situation and comfortability. But like I said, it's really about a harmony that comes down to this. It's not rocket science. A lot of this is just going to come down to simple solutions. Dora Jackson is going to come back and help with that, obviously. So we'll see these things increase as well. So and I might as well put this in the video as well. There's guys during this trade deadline that's about to come up in a few days. You know, you want to look at that Baltimore Ravens situation. Not now that they traded for another pass rusher, Pernell McPhee, uh, you know, Jihad Ward. I don't think they're gonna depart with Tyus Bowser yet. You know, you got guys like that that you can pick up. I don't know if they're done with the Jalen Ferguson experiment either. Um, you know, so those are guys that you could help with your run defense and pass rush. And then obviously in the secondary, I made a video about Brian Poole, even the guy that we're playing against today. I mean tomorrow, and Darius Phillips with the Bengals. You got guys like Grant Haley on practice squad, Curtis Riley on the Cardinals practice squad. Grant Haley is on the Saints practice squad. So there's moves and a lot of moving parts, you know. And I hope hopefully you guys can digest all of this, kind of all over the place. But I think I broke it down in an easy to digest way for the people who understand football. And for those that didn't, I will definitely work on that for you. But I will see you on the next one. How about that one?